All right. Thank you, Bernadine, and thank you all. Greetings to you all. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to day 4. Welcome to another wonderful session. I believe you were able to make progress in your project work. The project that has been given to you, you are expected to brainstorm together and work on it as a group. Share ideas and try and solve it. And what we want to do is to let you think hard to solve problems. AI is very good, and AI should be used by everyone. And as a student, especially in this particular bootcamp, you should use AI to confirm your results and to explore other options and to get ideas, learn new things, and not to solve your assignments, okay? Because if you just post the question and you get an AI response, what is going to happen is that you are not going to be able to understand it. And we are here to understand. And the goal is not just for you to present a solution. The goal is for you to learn and understand. So try and brainstorm and solve this. You are now developing your skills. You are now developing yourself in coding. And so you need to train yourself to solve problems. All right. You are the developer, not the AI. And like I said, the goal is not just for you to present, the goal is for you to understand. So make sure you chase the understanding. This is very, very important. It's very, very important. All right. So once again, good evening to you all. I'm so thrilled to see you all in class. Let me see some of the people in class today. You guys are doing so well. I saw your assignments, the way you did your assignments, very, very impressive. Your attendance, your group participation, everything you are doing shows that you are on course. Very soon, you are going to become professional developers. All right. So today we are going to continue with a brand new concept and move our knowledge to a whole new level. Each and every day, we are going to be building upon what we have learned, and we are going to make some progress. And as usual, before we proceed, I just want us to do a quick recap of what we studied yesterday. Yesterday, we learned about operators and expressions, and I want you to tell me one thing you learned from yesterday's class. You can post it in the chat, but I want one person to speak and tell us what they got from yesterday. So you can engage the chat, tell us what you learned from yesterday's class, some new things you learned yesterday. And I want one person who will share with us so that we all get to know the progress you are making. And so you can just raise your hand, and I like to hear from new people. If you've not spoken before, I like to hear you speak. And that is not to say if you've spoken before, you are not allowed to speak. So I want to call one person. All right. So just raise your hand and I'm going to call you. So as we continue learning, we need to keep track of what we have studied previously, and we need to be building upon this knowledge. So today's lesson is going to be another interesting one that will allow us to understand how to make decisions in our program. Yes. All right. So who is telling us what they learned yesterday? Anybody? Just raise your hand and I'm going to call you as usual. Yesterday we heard from Tijani, and I like the way he said, I'm able to call all of them at once. It was so interesting. I'm so happy to hear that. All right. So just tell me some of the what you learned yesterday. You can put some in the chat for me. Anything you learned from yesterday's class, any new concepts, any interesting thing you learned yesterday, if you were here with us yesterday. All right, so someone said I learned about arithmetic operators and comparison operators and assignment operators. Okay. All right. So Priscilla, if you can unmute. I think we heard from Priscilla yesterday. Okay, so yes.
And for me, I think others are having difficulties with their laptop to connect and unmute.
Okay.
So yesterday I learned about comparisons and expressions, mathematical operators,
Yeah.
arithmetic, comparison, and assignment operators. The most interesting one for me was the modular one that gives you the remainder.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. The
All
most
right.
interesting for me is, yeah.
Okay. So that is wonderful. That is very, very good. Thank you so much, Priscilla from South Africa. You are very active, you are very serious, you are focused, and that is what the class expects from you. That is what the class expects from you. And this shows that you have a future in tech. You are working so hard, and I'm very happy and thrilled to see wonderful people like you. All right, so let's listen to Leon. Leon, tell us your full name, where you are from, and tell us something about yesterday's class.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name's
Hi.
Leon, and I'm from Nairobi, Kenya.
Okay.
Just a few pointers that I learned yesterday, and something that really motivated me, and we shared on it. And this is what the quote says from Napoleon Hill: "You can do it if you believe you can." And
Wow.
yeah. Some of the other things that we actually picked on was also learned was on operators and expressions. Um, Python provides a wide range of mathematical operators. That's arithmetic, comparison, and assignment operators. Yeah,
Wonderful.
just to mention much more, but a few.
All right. Thank you so much. And that is very good.
Okay.
That's what we learned yesterday. We talked about arithmetic operators. We saw the different operators. So these are operators, okay? As a Python developer, you call this the multiplication operator. You call this the subtraction operator, the addition operator, the division operator. This is the modulus operator, if you remember modulus from yesterday. Then the exponentiation operator. When it gets to comparison operators, these operators are used to compare values or compare two variables. This is the equal to operator. Then we have the not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. When it comes to the assignment operator, this is the assign operator. This is add and assign. So you can add and assign. Yes, you can add two and add 2 to A like we did yesterday and assign the value back to A. So this allows you to increment the value of the variable. This is subtract and assign, multiply and assign, divide and assign, modulus and assign. That is wonderful. Today we have a new topic and we have another motivational message for you. And it says that learn today and lead tomorrow. Learn today and lead tomorrow. Learn today and lead tomorrow. If you want to lead tomorrow, then you have to learn today. If you don't learn today, you are not going to be able to lead tomorrow. If you don't learn today, you are not going to be able to lead tomorrow. So what we are doing today is for tomorrow. What we are experiencing now is as a result of what we did yesterday. So our yesterday is our experience today, and our tomorrow will be a reflection of what we do today. So tomorrow we want to be tech giants. We want to be leaders in the tech field. We want to have better careers. We want to get to the top. We want to lead. And to do that, we have to learn today. This is a time to invest in our studies. This is a time to learn. This is a time to sit up and learn. This is a time to sit up and learn. So the important thing here is that you cannot keep doing the same thing and get different results. Those of us who want better results, we understand that we have to learn. And so, no matter how discomfort it may be, we need to pay the price of learning today. So today, we are investing in learning. We are going through the process. We are learning. We are paying the price. And tomorrow, we are going to get the results. Tomorrow, we are going to get the results. One thing about learning is that it is a good investment that you always get results from it. When you invest in learning, it will always yield results. There are some investments that do not yield results, but learning will always yield results. So let's learn today, let's learn hard, and tomorrow we will earn and we will lead. All right. So this is me. My name is Darlington, and I want to lead you to the next lesson. This lesson is called Control Flow. Control Flow. Please type Control Flow in the chat for me. Control Flow. And it says that understanding conditional statements and Boolean logic in Python. So in this particular lesson, we are going to learn about control flow and conditional statements. So we are going to use conditional statements to control the flow of our programs. And this is very important because in Python, when you write a program, your program is read from top to bottom. Whenever you write a Python code, your program is read from top to the bottom, just like that. The program is read from top to the bottom, and your program lacks intelligence. Your program lacks intelligence until you are able to make your program intelligent. Without control flow or conditional logic, whenever we write programs in Python, our programs follow a linear flow, and they lack the ability to make intelligent decisions. So all that we are saying is that when you write code, your code will be read and executed all right. But you should be able to start writing intelligent code. That is code that can think or code that can make decisions. This was the foundation of AI and machine learning when we allow computers to make decisions. And so we are going to look at what influences decision making in our computer programs. And it begins with what we call Boolean expressions. So please type Boolean expressions in the chat for me. Boolean expressions. Yesterday, we mentioned the topic of expressions, and we were able to do some simple expressions with our comparison operators. And these expressions are all Boolean expressions. So what is a Boolean expression? Now, a Boolean expression here is a foundation of all intelligent systems. We have learned a lot about computer science, and we know that computers operate with ones and zeros, and a lot of things are done with these ones and zeros. A lot of decisions are made with these ones and zeros, and everything begins from here. So a Boolean expression is any expression that after its evaluation, the result is either true or false. This is what we call a Boolean expression. Any expression that results in true or false is known as a Boolean expression. These expressions are used to make decisions and control the flow of a program. And so, once the expression is made, if the result is true, then the computer will be given an instruction for true. And if the result is false, then another instruction will be given for false. For example, let's create two variables, x and y. X is 3, y is 7, just like we did something yesterday. We were able to check for equality by just printing it. Now, the moment you print this, what is going to happen is that to Python, the Python interpreter sees this as an expression that it has to evaluate. It sees it as an expression that it needs to evaluate. And it will evaluate it and tell you the result. So the output is false, just like Cynthia said. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Now, this x equal to y in computer science and in Python is what is known as a Boolean expression, because it is an expression that will return true or return false. The result of it is either true or false. For example, we have age 20, and we want to check if this age is eligible for voting. Now, we are saying that age is greater than or equal to 18. This is also an expression. We are saying that age is greater than or equal to 18. So Python interpreter will process this and tell you that the output is true. So what you are seeing here, age greater than or equal to 18, is referred to as a Boolean expression. Now, with Boolean expressions, we can make decisions. And most of the time, we write a lot of Boolean expressions to help us decide what our program should do. The output of a Boolean expression is of the bool data type. We know that already. So yes is bool, true is bool, false is bool. We're talking about the data type. So what I want you to do is that I want you to create a Boolean expression, any expression you can create. Remember, your expression should result in either true or false. Your expression should result in either true or false. So in the chat, I just want you to create an expression. You don't have to create a variable first. If you want, you can do. You can just compare two numbers, and it is an expression. Because when you use variables, your variables are just numbers stored in the variables. So just create a Boolean expression and let me see. Or you can create a variable like we did age. Good. So thank you, Robly. So Robly has created a Boolean expression. This is a Boolean expression. So the computer uses these Boolean expressions to make decisions. Now, we also have what we call Boolean variables. Boolean variables. A Boolean variable is a variable that is assigned a Boolean value at once. When we talk about the Boolean expressions, the result is a Boolean value, true or false. Now, this true or false can also be assigned to a variable. So when we learned about data types, we learned that we have the bool data type, and you can set its value to either true or false. And when you set a value to a variable, we call that a Boolean variable with a Boolean value. All right. Now, with the Boolean expressions, we are able to make conditional statements. And these statements allow our programs to make decisions and execute different blocks of code based on certain conditions. These conditions are typically expressed as Boolean expressions, which evaluate to true or false. Conditional statements are used to implement conditional logic. All right. So I've showed you this diagram already. So we create conditional statements using Boolean expressions. And once we do that, we have created what is called a conditional logic. And this conditional logic will yield a Boolean result. And what that means is that you allow your computer program to make a decision. Just like I showed you before, let me explain it again. Without a conditional logic, our programs will have a linear flow. This means the Python interpreter will just execute your code and execute every statement it sees from top to the bottom. So one thing you learn from this is that Python reads code from top to the bottom. All right. Now you can build an intelligent program with conditional logic. And this means that we can have two sets of code, two different sets of codes that your program chooses which one to run based on a condition. So based on the result of the condition here, if it is true, it will execute one and ignore the other. If it is false, it will execute one. So let's look at the flow of this program. This program flows from the top going to the bottom, but when it meets the conditional logic, it waits for instruction. And it can be given an instruction to move to the right and execute a code block over here. After executing the code block, it comes back and continue reading to the bottom. And so Python reads codes from top to the bottom, all right. But with this approach, the code can switch to one block or another block based on a condition. So this is what we call conditional logic, and this is what we use to make a lot of decisions in our code. And over here, we are going to discover that the most popular conditional statement we make in Python is called an if statement. Yesterday, I saw most of you use an if, and I was so impressed. I was so impressed to see that. Now, the if statement is used to check a condition. If the condition results to true, then the block of code inside the if statement is executed. If the condition is false, then that block of code is skipped and the program moves on to the next set of instructions. So this is how it works. Whenever you use the if, you need to have your condition here. And this condition here is a Boolean expression. And then you introduce this colon over here. And you introduce an indentation over here. And then you go ahead and write your code block over here. And so the code under the if is what will be executed if this condition is true. We are talking about if statements. If the condition is false, this code will be ignored because this code is only activated if the condition is true. This is how conditional statements work. And so sometimes we'll create another block with an else statement so that when it is false and the code block here is skipped, it will execute the else block. It is very important to note the features of an if statement. To write code the right way as a Python developer, you need to know how to write your if statement well. Number one, you start with the keyword if. Then you need to write your condition. And remember that your condition is what? A Boolean expression. We started seeing Boolean expressions from yesterday. And today we have discovered that a Boolean expression will result to true or will result to false. So this will run the condition, and if true, then the code block will be executed. Now, most new Python developers or Python students forget one thing. That is this column. Python expects you to write the column after your Boolean expression. Another thing that everyone should take note of is what we call the indentation. In Python, indentation is crucial for defining the block of code to be executed. The way you indent your code is what tells Python what to read. If you indent with one tab, then it understands that it belongs to this particular line. If you don't indent, then it does not belong to this particular code. And so very soon we'll talk about the scope of code. If it doesn't fall under the indentation, it doesn't belong to it. But if you indent it, then it belongs to that particular line of code. All right. Over here, it says that the standard convention is to use 4 spaces for each level of indentation. Now, if you are using PyCharm and you write an if statement, the moment you introduce your colon, the indentation will be created for you. There are several Python IDEs. Almost every professional Python IDE will give you the indentation automatically. However, there are some editors that you have to create the indentation yourself. And to create the indentation yourself, we use 4 spaces for the indentation. You can use a tab or you can use 4 spaces. So by convention, there are 4 spaces that we use. But then most of the time they are created for us, so we don't even have to think about that. Now, if you look at this third line here, it is not indented. And so this code is not part of the if statement block because it is not indented. So when this becomes true, these 2 lines will run under this condition. This one is outside the scope of this statement. And so this code will execute whether or not the condition is true because it doesn't belong to it. Now, if the condition is false, these 2 lines of code will also be ignored because they only work if the condition is true. This is why we have what we call if-else statements. In addition to the basic if statement, Python provides if-else statements which allow you to specify an alternative block of code to be executed when the condition is false. And so it is useful when you want to perform different actions based on whether the condition is true or false. All right, so this is where we have if and else. Remember, the if block is only executed if the condition is true. If the condition is not true, this line of code will be ignored completely. To make sure we can run an alternative block of code, we can introduce an else. Notice that the condition under if has its colon, the else also needs its colon, and then the else also needs its indentation. And then the block of code will appear here. Now, the block of code is anything you want to do or anything you want Python to run. So you can write your code, whatever operation, whatever you want Python to do, that is what you put there. All right. So just like I mentioned, they all have their columns and it's important to take note of them. And they also have their indentations. Okay. Now let's try a few examples Let's try a few examples over here. And over here, we are creating a simple Python program that will check if number 9 is odd or even. All right. So with what we have studied so far, we should be able to solve this problem here to check if number 9 is an odd number or an even number. If I ask you to solve this right now, I'm sure you'll be able to do that. I'm sure you'll be able to do that. I'm sure you'll be able to do that. All right. This is how I will do it. I'm going to use the if, and I'm going to create a Boolean expression. My expression is going to be, okay. My expression is going to be like this. This number variable modulus 2. If this number variable modulus 2 is equal to 0, then what does it mean? If the number modulus 2 equals to 0, then what does it mean? It means it is even. All right, so this is a code I would have written. Then I'll say else the number is odd. So this is a simple Python code you can write that will check if a number is even or odd. All right. So if number modulus 2 equals to 0, now if you want to check this, let's ignore the if for a second and read this. It says that number modulus 2 equals to 0. If this expression is evaluated, number modulus 2 equals to 0. To you, is it true or false? Number modulus 2 equals to 0. Don't add the if. Just say number modulus 2 equals to 0. We know number to be 9. So 9 modulus 2 equals to 0. Is that true or false? Okay, it's false. All right. So Python will process this instruction here or this expression here. And if it is true, Python will run this code. If it is false, Python will run this code. All right. I just realized I'm in a different account that is different from where I write my Python code. So I'm going to switch in just a minute, and then we'll continue right from here. So let me just sign out and log in again now. All right, so let's go to VS Code and experiment. Let's do some quick experiments over here. So I'm going to, sorry, PyCharm. Let's open to PyCharm. I'm going to open to my PyCharm. I have some of my old projects here. Let me create a new project for, let's say, let's call this, let me see. Let me just call it, let me call it number checker.py. All right. So let's say we have a number. Let's call this number equals to 25. And we want to check if this number is even or odd. We'll say that if number modulus 2, if modulus 2 of this number is equal to 0, sorry, if it's equal to 0, then print the number is even. Else, you can print the number is odd. So when we run this, what is going to happen is that the number is odd. Now, this is a complete program that is intelligent already. No matter the number you put here is going to work. If I put 30 here and I run it now, you see that it will know that it is even or odd. If I put 549,823 and I run it, it will know that it is odd. So no matter the number you give it, when you run it, it's going to compute it and tell you what the result is. It's an intelligent program on its own already. All right. So we also have the if, elif, and else statement. And with the if, elif, and else, we are able to handle multiple conditions. And this is how it works. We have our if condition, which is our condition 1, with its code. We know that this code only works if the if is true. So whenever you test this in Python, you realize that the code we place under the if, it only works if the condition is true. That is how it works all the time. Let's try it again and see. Now, if we say that let's say we have A here, and we say A is 5. If I come here and I say A is equal to 5, over here print true, and over here print false. When I run this now, it's going to print true. If I say A is equal to 6, you realize that this will not be printed. So it is going to print false. This means that the code we place here only works if the expression here is true. This is how Python works. Now, sometimes we may have multiple conditions because in the real world, situations are not always true or false. Sometimes something may be false, but may be true if the condition changes. For example, over here we have if condition 1 is not true, go and check for condition 2 because condition 2 may be true. If condition 2 is not true, go and check condition 3. And you can keep checking before at the end of the day, you introduce your else. The else means after you are done checking for the truth, then here can be executed for false. Now, let's say we have a student of a university, and this student is supposed to register for an examination. And several other students are also supposed to register for this same examination. For example, if we come here and we say, if students, okay, if you are a student, what should happen is that if it is true, the first code block here is going to be executed. And the moment this is executed, the rest of the code will be ignored completely. The way this if block works is that the moment one of them is identified to be true, all the rest are ignored. All the rest are ignored. All right. Now, there are some situations where condition 1 may be false. where condition 1 may be false, but then condition 1 may be true. Let's try these examples and we will see how that works. And over here, it is worth noting that in Python, the elif here stands for else if. So if you are new to Python and you see elif, it means else if. So we have if condition 1, then run this code block, else if condition 2, then run this code block. So the elif here is else if. But in Python, instead of else if, we write elif, So please, if you can hear me, type elif in the chat for me. Elif. It is what we write when we want to say else if. Thank you, Nigel. All right. So let's check this. Over here, we have a score variable, and the score is 75, okay, for this particular student. We can write a program that says that if score is greater than or equal to 90, then it should print a grade for the student. And the grade is A. Now, the fact that this student may not be greater than or equal to 90 does not mean that this student has gotten an F or has failed. And so we can write another condition to check if the score is greater than or equal to 80. Now, over here, you can see that the student didn't meet this requirement. And then we can write another requirement or another condition to check if the student meets it. If the student meets this requirement, then the student will get this particular result. So in Python, this line of code is what will be executed. And then we also have another one. So you can keep checking, and then you will write the appropriate code block. And so this is a score variable, and this is a number, but we have several elifs because we do not know what number this will be. As a matter of fact, this can be received through the input function. So we do not know what the score will be, but then our program should be able to check for everything. And so looking at this number, you realize that this is a condition that the student meets. And so the grade is going to be C. And the program says that if, apart from this, just go ahead and say fail. Now let's create this simple program in Python here. We can say grade or score equals to, we can receive it through the input and say input, enter your score like this. And we can say that if score is greater than or equal to 90, then print grade A. Else print grade F. All right. When I run this, it's going to ask to enter the score. If I input 75, what it is going to give me is grade F. So what we are trying to say is that in the real world, the fact that one condition is false does not mean that the else should be executed. The fact that the student didn't score 90 and above does not mean the student has failed. And so in the real world, there may be multiple conditions. And this is a perfect example. So over here, we should be able to make our program intelligent in a way that it can test for multiple scores before it will say F. Because if it is just between A and F, then a lot of people are going to get F. And so Python allows us to use the elif and write the condition again. So elif score is greater than or equal to 80. Then print grade B. If we run this code, the student is still going to get F with 75. This means the program is not intelligent enough. Although we've written good code, what is happening is that in the real world, sometimes we need to ask so many questions before we conclude, before we draw conclusions. And so we can go ahead and test again and say elif score is greater than or equal to 70. Let's print grade C. And so when we run it this time, we are going to see that a student with 75 got C. When we run this again, and let's say we enter 92, the program is intelligent enough to know that it is A. When we run it again, and let's say the student got 35, then we understand that the student should get an F. All right. So we have multiple conditions with the elif. All right. Okay. So I believe you know these things already. Most of you know these things already. That's why I'm just going through it very fast. But then we want you to do something very simple, and we will move on. After this, we'll just give a homework that you submit by Monday, and we'll be done. So this should be an exercise where you write a simple Python program. And this particular program or this particular exercise, it is called, let me put the name right. It is a driver's license eligibility checker. All right. So we are supposed to check whether this person is supposed to get a driver's license or not. So write a Python program that asks the user for their name, age, and country of residence. Then checks if they are eligible to apply for a driver's license based on a minimum requirement of 18 years. For most countries, that is for most countries, and 16 years for USA. Displaying an appropriate message for eligibility. How many years they need to wait if not eligible, or a special message if they are under 13 years old. All right, so previously I wanted this to be an individual assignment, but looking at how detailed it is, I'm thinking that you should work on it together in your groups. And just after this, we just have a homework that we will submit on Monday. And so we can spend some time and look at this. I don't know if you want this as an individual task or you should do it in your group. Previously, I thought it should be individual since we've had a group meeting already today. But looking at how detailed it is, I don't know whether you want to work on it as an individual exercise or we should make it a group project. So what do you think? Let me see in the chat what you think. If it should be individual or group. Okay, so Lois says it should be group for more interaction. All right, so this assignment or exercise, you just need to think and see how you go about solving it. All that we have done today is to introduce a if, elif, and else, and it's very, very simple. This is a very, very basic concept that you should understand and be able to implement in intelligent ways. All right, so let's share our links again. And we have 15 minutes. We have 15 minutes. Let's think about this and let's solve it together. And then we'll share what we did in the group and we'll take an interesting homework as well that will let you brainstorm and solve it. So as we are learning Python, there's different concepts that we need to cover step by step. And so over here, this is what we are supposed to cover to be able to build that foundation in Python. All right. So let's work on this. This is an exercise that we do in class. And we have someone who doesn't have a group. Is today your first time? Oliwo Kerry. Jacqueline. Okay. All right. So Jacqueline too. I don't know if Jacqueline, this is your first time. I've never heard your name before. Dennis too. It's your first time. All right. So let's work on this. Let's work on this. Let's brainstorm and solve this together. And please, let's do our best not to use any help, any AI help. Let's think and solve it. All right. So group 1 has been shared. Group 4 has been shared. Please click on it and let's work on this together. Okay, so Dennis, please join group 4. Dennis, join group 4. And Oluokere, please join group 1. All right, so let's work on this together and then we'll share our code and we'll continue. So just the meeting link. So we have group 2. So group 2 members, you can join your link. And think about it and solve it. All right, group 3 has also been shared. So just join and let's continue. So we will meet here. Let's make it 8:05. By 8:05, we should be back. So I'll be waiting for you to see what you've done. If you don't have a group, let me know in the chat and I'll assist you. All right, so if any group is done, you can let us know in the chat if any group is ready. If not, you still have some 3 minutes more. Let me see if, all right. So at long last, group 4 is ready. Okay, good to know. Group 6 too. Wow. That's interesting. I like to see your work. So group 4, whoever is sharing should raise your hand and I will allow you to share your work. All right, so we have Lois and Uchenna. Whoever gets a chance to share, please share. And let's see what you've done. Just share your work and let's go through it together. Okay.
Okay, you can see my screen, huh?
Yes, we can see. So this is for group 4, right?
Okay, group 4 led by Letitia. So
Okay.
for our group, we chose on working Africa and we chose like around 6 countries. So first of all, we got the title for our project, which is driver's license eligibility. Then we asked for the user to key in the identification, that is the name, age, and the country. So since we decided to work with Africa, the countries that the people in our group are, that is Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and Liberia. So we had like 2 if statements, and the first if statement was if the country in countries, this is the whatever we were going to use. And if country not in countries, we are just going to give you a feedback of, so we are sorry, your country is not listed. So I'm going to run the code based on the two if statements. So let me just expand my screen and start again. That is the feedback. Let me just start. So for example, enter your name. You can say Joy. Enter your age. Maybe your age is 17. Enter your country. Maybe your country is Tanzania. Tanzania is going to give you a sorry, your country is not listed. So
Okay.
I'm going to try another one where your country is listed. So let me just try again. Enter your name. Let's talk about peace. Enter your age. Maybe peace is 14 years. And maybe enter your country. Peace is in Uganda. Uganda. So you're going to get, you are not eligible. You have 4 years to go. And now if maybe you have someone else who is under 13, so let me try and run the message. Let's just say Peter, who is maybe 10 years, and maybe the country is Kenya, going to get a message, be patient, wait till you turn 18 years old. So that's how we worked on it. Now to get the difference in ages, we used the the mathematical operators, whereby we had a statement of saying Elif, if age is greater than or equals to 13, you're going to print you're not eligible. Then print you have, get the minimum age requirement, minimum age requirement, subtract from the age, and get how many years are remaining for you to get the driver's license. That's how we worked
Wow.
on it.
Wow. Let's clap for group 4. This is serious. Let's clap for group 4. You've done very, very well. Wow. You've done very, very well. And your work is really detailed. It's very detailed. Someone say chai. This one there. All right. You've done very, very well. Congrats. All right. So, Uchenna, please go ahead. Let's see your work. That is for group 6, right? Yes. So please share your screen. You should be able to share. Yeah. So the program you just built now, you see how serious it is. I mean, this is something that I see it to be a working application already. This is really nice. Okay. So as we learn to use Python this way, it means we are understanding the language and we'll be able to use it for more advanced things. All right. So let's see how you did your work. Uchenna, can you explain your code?
Yeah, sure. So
All right.
basically, we took a simpler approach where we collected the name, the age. We used the int operator to convert the age into an integer,
Sure.
and we collected the country of residence. Then we separated the part where the user is in USA, and for other countries, we used the else statement down here. So if the country of residence is USA, then we test if the age is greater than 16. We print a message saying, oh, congratulations, you're eligible for a driver's license. And else we print hello, a name, that's the name of the person. You're not eligible for a driver's license. You would have to wait for 16 minus 8, which is the difference. Yes. Unfortunately, we did not cover for when the user is less than 13 years old. That was an oversight on our part. Okay, and then if the user is in other countries, then the age would be 18, and you print the self-same message.
So please run it and let's see.
Okay, so I'm just going to run. The first thing that we're going to be asked to do is to enter the name. So I'm going to enter a name. I'll enter my name, which is Uchenna or Uche. Okay, then age. Let's say I am 14 years old and I'm from Nigeria. Okay, Nigeria. I'll press enter and it prints the message. Please, it prints the message, hello Uche, you are not eligible for a driver's license. You would have to wait for 4 years because Nigeria has an age limit of 18 years. So let's run again for somebody who is in the US. Let's say we have Ada is in the US and Ada is 17 years old. Ada is 17 and the country is USA. Okay. And we have hello Ada, congratulations, you are eligible for a driver's license.
Wow. All right. So your program it answers a question and you've done well. Let's all clap for them. You've showed maturity and you have implemented what we studied in class. See? So I like that. I like that. I like that. So yes, well done. So group 6, well done. Well done. All right. So group 3 is also ready. Who is presenting? Just raise your hand and I'm going to allow you to. Okay. I can see Benjamin. So Benjamin, try sharing your screen now. Let us know your group name and explain your code. Hmm. Okay, can you unmute and explain the code?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so this is Benjamin presenting from Kenya for group 3.
Okay.
So the first thing, we're just printing a title, the driver's license eligibility checker. And this section of the code, we were asking for the inputs, which include the name, the age, which we have variated it to an int, and the nationality. Then the declaration of the minimum age was 18 for the other countries. We have used an if-else clause, a conditional here, and we have stated specifically for the USA, the minimum age would be 16 years old. And then we have used another if statement for the minimum age, and it will output, it would grab the name that you have entered and output congratulations, and so you're eligible for to apply for a driver's license. This one is if you're above the age of 16 for the USA. And if at all you are below the age of 13, because there was that special condition, then it would output, sorry, your name, you're too young to consider driving. And then apart from all this, we would calculate the years left for you to drive, which was the minimum age minus the age, and it will print, sorry, your name, you need to wait for a certain number of years, more years, to be eligible for a driver's license. And
All right.
if
So
you
please run it. Yeah.
Ben, how old are you? I would say, if I say 13 and I'm from the USA, then Ben, you need to wait for 3 more years to be eligible for a driver's license. If I run it again and I say that my name is Ben, 18 years old from Kenya, Ben, you're eligible for to apply for a driving license. And if I happen to say that my name is Ben, 11 years old from USA, sorry, Ben, you're too young to consider driving.
All right. Can you test one more with the
Yes.
right age in the US?
Okay. With the right age in the US, Ben, how old are you? If I say 19 from the USA, then Ben, you're eligible to apply for driver's license.
All right. So what we are doing here is that the way these codes are highly effective and they are correct, they answer the question. What you have to do is to be able to think like this and be able to write this code without help. All right, so the moment you on your own can look at a project like this and solve it like what we are seeing now, then you have mastered the language. This is the Python we are talking about, and we use this Python to solve problems. So the question that was given to you is a problem, and you use a language to solve it. So what you have to do to train yourself is to be able to look at the problem without any help, sit down, write the code, and solve the problem. This work is excellent and well done, well done, well done. This is group what?
Group 3.
Group 3. Well done, group 3. Well done, well done. All right, so group 1, who is presenting for group 1? Anesu. So raise your hand. Let me allow you. Anesu. You can go ahead and share your screen. Yeah, so Anesu, share your screen.
Confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, so at first, we allowed the user to enter his age, where his name, sorry, whereby the user will enter the name, and follows after is the age, whereby we allow the user to enter the age, and it's casted to int, whereby we are handling exceptions, whereby we want to avoid the user to input the other variable or data types other than int. And the follows is the country, whereby the user enters the country, for example, USA, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and so on. And on line number 5, we checked if the country imported by the user is USA. If the country is USA, we then check if the user's age is greater than or equal to 16. If the age is greater than or equal to 16, the user will be eligible to take the driver's license. Else, if the user's age is less than 18, the user will not be eligible, and will print an f-string function whereby we say 16, which is the eligible age minus the age that the user has inputted. Else, the user will not be eligible for getting driver's license. The same applies to other countries which are not USA, whereby we pass the else method on number 12, line number 12, whereby we checked if the age is greater than or equal to 18, the user would be eligible to take the driver's license. On line number 15, if the age is less than 13, the user will not be eligible to take the driver's license, else the user will still not be eligible to take the driver's license. So
Right.
let me run the code.
Yes.
First, I will enter my name, which is Anesu, and my age. Let me assume my age is 21, and I'm from USA. So the user will be eligible to take the driver's license. If I run again with the same name, and the and the age is 15, and the country is USA, the user will not be eligible to take the driver's license. And if I run again, Anesu, and my age is 11, and my country is USA, the user will not be eligible to get the driver's license until he reaches 5. So this is almost the same for the else part for the code.
Wow.
This is for group
Wow.
number 1.
Wow. All right. So I like the way you were able to sit down, think, brainstorm as a group, and you were able to solve this. This is what we expect from you, and you've done very, very well. You've done it so well. Let's put our hands together for group 1. You've done very well. You've done very well. That's it. That's it. I can see the way you did the work, and I saw how, I can see how you were able to put your heads together to get this thing Solved. You've done well. All right. So which group hasn't presented? I don't know if we are done. All right. Okay. Group 2. Oh yeah, group 2. Sorry, Nyapandi. So Leon, please go ahead. Share your screen. Leon, let's share your screen.
Right.
Okay.
Screen. I don't know whether you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, so Leon from Nairobi, Kenya again. I'm here to represent group number 2.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I'm not so techy. This is what we discussed. What is it called? Mhm. So we were coming up with a, oh my goodness. Sorry, Fadam. Sorry, sir. I'm lost.
Can you just run it and tell
Right.
us?
So if I run, let's say I say this is Fadam's.
Okay.
And his age is 13.
Okay.
Then I say it's in the USA. Unfortunately, Fadams will not be eligible to get a driving license.
Oh, why?
So
Okay, I
because you're
get you.
underage, yeah. So if I
Okay.
run this again, if I say Fadams,
Now use your name. I want to see your name.
all right, let's say we use Leon, and I am 35,
Okay.
and I'm in the USA. Say congratulations, Leon, you qualify for the driving license.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So let's clap for group 2. You've done so well. You've done so well. Yes. Yeah. So what we are doing here at Rate Africa is to make sure we develop tech professionals who can think like this and solve problems like this. All right. And so these kind of projects, you can take them and work on them alone in your free time and just use them to train yourself. Can you solve this? Because in the real world, we want you to be able to solve this. And your ability to solve this is what will take you to the next level in your ability to learn. Because for you to grow to be that tech professional, you need to go through several levels and you need to succeed at every level. So if you can bring yourself to this level where you can think and solve this problem, then you have gotten to the stage where you can build upon it. So the goal here is for your training. Again, it is not just for the presentation or just for the marks you have gotten. The goal is for your training, your personal development. So that is what we are looking for. And on that note, I'm going to give you one very simple homework that you do alone. And you submit to assignments@retaafrica.com. And this homework says age group identifier. Write a program that asks the user to enter their age. Then just use conditionals. If the age is less than 13, just print you're a child. If it is between 13 and 19, print you're a teenager. And then if the age is 20 or older, print you're an adult. So you should be able to do this, do it, and send it to assignments@retaafrica.com. All of you have done well, and you are making progress each and every day. If you missed any session, go over the videos. All the videos are published in the LMS before we meet. And so if you go there now, yesterday's video is already there. So make sure you learn, make sure you bring yourself to the same level. And we wish you all the best. We want you to succeed, and we want you to make it to the next level so that you can get advanced training in your data science, in your data analytics, in your cybersecurity, your cloud computing, your DevOps, your software engineering, and full stack web development. The email again is assignments with an S at rateafrica.com. Somebody can put it in the chat. I'll be very, very grateful. Assignments at rateafrica.com. I'm sure someone is typing it in the chat. So thank you all for being in class this whole week. You've done so well. Let's clap for ourselves for being so committed to our studies, committed to our learning, and making a lot of progress. You've all done very, very well. And I'm going to see you again on Monday. Enjoy the weekend. Keep learning. Keep aiming higher, and you are going to get there. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.